Ukoliko imate problema sa FPS-om, ovo je možda pravi video za vas. Znam da volite kad objavljam optimizacije kompjutera i kantera. Danas reagujemo u stvari na optimizaciju koju izbacio jedan poznati youtuber, tako da proći ćemo zajedno kroz sve ovo. Razmišljao sam da li ja sve ovo da testiram pa da vidimo pre i posle da bi vidjeli kakvo izgleda i to, ali skapirao sam da dosta toga ima, tipa da restartujem PC, pa da obrišem drajvere, pa da ovo, pa da ono, tako da možda i ne bih, ali ukoliko vama bude pomoglo, odradit ću ja pa ćemo da vidimo, možda i meni poveća FPS. Sve u svemu čitao sam komentare i dosta ljudi kažu da im je FPS dosta veći. Naravno, radite na svoju odgovornost, nemojte da radite ovo ukoliko ne želite, niko vas ne tera na ovo, samo ćemo da pogledamo, da vidimo da li se nešto razlikuje od onih optimizacije koje sam ja radio ili ne, tako da nećemo mnogo da dužimo. Vi ukoliko ste novi, like, subscribe, obavezno, ajmo do 500 lajkića ako može ovaj video da stigne, bilo bi super, i da krenemo u video. Naravno, pre toga da poslušamo našeg sponzora, šta će da nam kaže, može, ajde. A sponzor današnjeg videa je Market CSGO. Market CSGO je sajt gde možete da prodajete i kupujete CSGO skinove. Takođe, uskoro dolazi sa novim dizajnom koji možete da testirate klikom ovde na novi dizajn i samo lagano pređite, veoma lepše, tamnije, onako baš kako treba. Prijava na sajt je poprilično lagana, imate u gornjem desnom uglu ovde, samo kliknite sign through Steam i lagano vas povezuje na sajt. Ono što je dobro poprilično kod ovog sajta jeste to što možete da kliknete na cheaper than on Steam ili ti jeftinije nego na Steamu i da vidite sve iteme koji su dosta jeftiniji nego što su na Steamu, kao na primer ovaj AVP Ateris koji je 19% jeftiniji nego što je na marketu. Poprilično je lako prodati ovde svoje skinove, kliknete ovde dugme na sell, učita vam inventory, stavite koju pušku hoćete na primjer da prodajete, evo na primjer recimo ove dve, put up for sale, sačekate i naravno kada se sve to uključi, kliknete ovde ukoliko želite da naravno withdrawujete svoje pare ili da ih uzmete. Imate milion načina kako da možete da prebacite pare na račun, imate preko kripto, Apple Pay, Google Pay, kao i preko vaše kartice, što je poprilično dobro ako mene pitate. Možete da instalirate njihov extension za Google Chrome koji će vam dosta pomoći da se lakše i sigurnije tradujete bez kamera, bez ovoga, bez onoga, tako da definitivno preporučujem ukoliko ne želite da preko Steama, s obzirom da postoje oni API skamovi, da ovde pokušate i da odradite ovako tradovanje. Dosta je sigurnije i oni garantuju za svaki trade. Na sajtu se radi preko 100.000 tradeova dnevno, tako da definitivno možete da pokušate i da možda profitirate, da se malo istradujete, da vidite šta i kako možete da uradite i nadamo se da će vam inventori izgledati što bolje. Sad kad smo to završili, možemo da krenemo u video, ajde da vidimo šta priča. Dobro. Da.
Let's do something about that.
Ajde.
CSGO is an old game being around for 11 years
Jeste, dobro,
and yet
ajde.
people still have FPS issues even with the best PCs. This video will show you the best settings to optimize your game and to help improve your FPS. Now, this is the kind of stuff that I don't know too much about, so to help me with this guide, I brought in a diamond in the dirt, an expert, Isa, who specializes in PC optimization and has worked with the best pros in the scene such as Monacy, Glaive, and Kenny S. Isa has kindly shared some of the secrets on how to make people's PCs faster, not just for CSGO, but for other games like COD and Fortnite. Before I made any changes, the FPS I was getting was 535 in the CSGO benchmark. But after Isa worked on my computer, I got 690 FPS, giving me a 25% FPS boost in CSGO using this guide that I'm about to show you now. Isa also worked on Smirky's computer, and Smirky received a 45% increase boost from a full optimization from Isa. Before I show you the secret sauce, this is a basic guide. There are a lot of optimizations from Isa that he could not share with me, so if this guide does not help you out, make sure to message him on Twitter to set up a one-on-one appointment with him. Before we make any changes, go ahead and run the FPS benchmark map in CSGO to see what your current FPS is to see the FPS before making any changes to your settings to see if this guide has helped you or not. The link to the workshop map is going to be below in the description box. Let's first start with the Steam program. In the settings, under the Remote Play tab, you want to disable and uncheck Enable Remote Play. Next, go to the Broadcasting tab, and under the Privacy Setting drop-down, click Broadcasting Disable. Then go to the Interface tab, and go to the second drop-down box where it says Select which Steam window appears when the program starts. I suggest you pick the library. And then go ahead and uncheck everything besides Run Steam when computer starts. Now we're going to move on to the launch options. Where you go to the Steam library, right-click on Counter-Strike, and go to Properties. From here, enter these options. Dash No Vid. This will remove the intro that typically pops up when you start CS. Dash No Joy. This disables the joystick, slightly decreasing the load on your computer. Dash Tick Rate Space 128 makes it when you host a local server. Example, you launch a map. The server is 128 tick, whereas typically it's 64 tick on default. And then you're going to want to add this last one. Dash No Thread Sockets for better hit reg.
Ovdje sam vidio u komentaru da se zajebo zove No Thread Sockets, trebalo bi No Threaded Sockets, ja mislim. Samo da vidim, čitao sam komentara čisto da vidim da li da vam snimam. Da, vidite, ovdje kaže No Threaded Sockets da se upiše. Ja ću isto da testiram, brate, ali s obzirom da mi sad radi kamerica u 4K, već mi CPU koristi 5,4%, FPS će mi 100% biti manji dok snimam, ali uradit ću bez snimanja pa ću da postavim tipa negde na Instagramu, Rema.st ili na community postu na YouTubeu pa ćemo da vidimo razliku ako uopšte i bude bilo razlike.
Best launch option settings that ISA recommends and you should not have anything else. Next, we're going to take a look at the CSGO files. In this bit, we're going to do a bit of cleanup in our CSGO file and get you a better auto-set that will help with
to je dobra stvar, malo da se očisti folder CSGO-a, treba da se radi.
Library, and right-click on CSGO, go to Manage and browse Local Files. Now you're in the Counter-Strike Global Offensive folder. Delete all the MD-MP, as these are just error logs and are created whenever you crash.
To treba da obrišete. Mislim, ja ih nemam ukoliko, ja ne znam šta ovaj brat radi pa mu toliko crashuje igrice, ali dobro.
For your auto-exec config, you're gonna go to CSGO, CFG, leave that file explorer there, and in another folder, go to the folder where your Steam is installed. On this computer, it's installed on the D drive, program files x86.
Ovo znate već, znači odete da vam instaliran kanter, nađete Steam, sve.
This will take you to maybe one or two files.
Ovo sam vam već pokazao u prethodnim videojima kako da radite, tako da možete naći lagano.
On them are your individual Steam accounts that hold your game settings and configurations.
Trebalo bi ovo da vam bude lako, ovo već objašnjeno milion puta, tako da nemojte da se opterećujete previše.
Once you're in your main account folder, click on 730, which is Counter-Strike, local, then CFG.
Video change. Ovaj lik menja rezolucije svaki dan.
You should have a file in here called AutoExec. When the game launches, whatever commands are in this file are going to boot up with the game. We're going to add ISA's AutoExec to help increase performance and move it to the CFG folder in the other window. I am going to link a Google Drive in the description for you to download all the files that I will be talking about in this guide. Once you download ISA's folder, in here contains an AutoExec he made to help with performance. You're going to want to open his AutoExec and then open yours inside the local CFG folder. Then go ahead and copy any binds you have from your AutoExec to his. For example, I have some radar binds and some demo binds. Once done, close your AutoExec and delete it since we will no longer need it. With ISA's AutoExec, save the changes you made, and in the window you should have opened from earlier, drag and drop the file here. If you get a prompt saying there are duplicates, you can replace it. Now, a trick I would recommend to avoid CSGO or any service changing our AutoExec is to right-click on the AutoExec, click on Properties, and make it so it's read-only, then Apply. Now we're going to go into CSGO, where we're going to change our in-game CSGO settings to focus more on FPS. Now go into our and make it so it's read-only, then Apply.
Da vidimo šta kaže za
Now we're
CSGO.
going to go into CSGO, where we're going to change our in-game CSGO settings to focus more on FPS. Now go into your settings and go to video. At this point, you want to copy these video settings that I'm showing you. Again, this will help you give the boost in-game and should give you around 10 to 20 extra FPS. Something to help decrease the load on your machine is clearing your console. While you play, you will have constant messages in your console just sitting there, which builds up over time. To help clear this, you could use this bind to make it so that when you inspect your weapon, it clears your console. Alright, so that's all we can do with CSGO, the game itself. All the changes we have already made with the settings.
Radio je tu neke stvari onako logične da kažemo, barem za sada, ali vidjet ćemo šta će još da radi.
It's also worth noting that a lot of ISIS secrets to boosting your performance and getting more out of your machine are locked behind closed doors, but you can hire his service to do all this for you, as well as do a lot of tricks that aren't shown in this video. Make sure to message him on Twitter. Let's start with MSI Afterburner to get more use out of your GPU. Go into ISIS folder and install.
Ovo možete i ne morate da radite. Ja iskreno nešto da nisam vidio neki veliki FPS increase. Ako imate možda malo slabiju grafičku, pa možete da pokušate sa MSI Afterburnerom da povećate malo core voltažu i ostalo sranja, ali nemojte da radite ukoliko ne znate ništa, jer možete da vam pregori grafička, morate da obraćate pažnju na temperaturu, kao što vidite ovde. Ovaj temperatura limit, kao što on povećava namerno da bi mogao više da core clockuje i to, ali ukoliko imate dobro hlađenje i dobar airflow, možete ovo da radite i grafička vam se ne zagrava previše, ukoliko nemate, nemojte.
Power and temp limits and click apply. This will remove any limitations on your graphics card. Then click on the Windows icon in the top right to make it blue so your settings can launch when Windows start. Then you want to go to settings and click on start Windows and then start minimize. Afterwards, go towards the fan tab and click on enable user defined software automatic fan control. Now adjust the curve to your liking. When it comes
Ovo podešavate brzinu ventilatora da vam se čuje PC jači, to klasika, mislim što više radi, što se više zagreva, vi stavite da više koristi fan speed. Mislim, prosto jednostavno, ne moram da vam objašnjavam
mnogo. When it comes to doing this part here, it does look confusing. An ISO's recommendation is to make a line so it balances out, but you could make it a little bit more aggressive. However, the GPU will make more noise. So at this moment, your GPU fan doesn't do much until it's really needed. And doing this, you will get GPU fan to spin sooner, helping us squeeze extra frames from it.
Dobro.
Moving on to the next part of the guide is the reg. To get more out of our RAM and to optimize, we're going to run these reg files inside of ISO's folder. Now you're going to execute the optimize IRQC and all file and allow the changes. This will optimize Windows by changing the settings, but nothing too crazy or noticeable. Next, you want to run the reg file for how much memory you have. For me, when I go to my task manager and go to performance, we can see I have 32 gigabytes, so I'm going to run the 32 gigabyte folder. If you have 8, you will run 8, and if you have 16 gigabytes, you will run 16 gigabytes. Press OK on all the pop-ups, and that's done.
Ok, super. Naravno, možete da proverite desni klik pa da vidite šta se nalazi u ovim reg failovima, čisto da budete sigurni, tako da kapiram da ovo ne bi objavio na YouTube da je nešto scam ili tako to, ali čisto da znate, kad skinete reg failove možete da vidite šta ima unutra, šta pokreće i te stvari, pa možete sami proveriti.
Following the reg, we are going to next install these different versions of Visual to make sure we have them all and to ensure they are correct. Go to ISO's folder, right click.
Ovo su individualno, ovo install all je za sve, ok.
Click on install all, run as admin and press OK. This should take a couple of minutes, but the batch file that you ran will install it all for you.
Dobro, ovo je dobra stvar. Mislim, ovi C++ paketi su uvek dobra stvar, tako da možete da ih instalirate.
This next part is only for NVIDIA graphics card owners. Do not follow if you have an AMD graphics card. Sorry,
Same tiltuje što je tako zove.
The owners.
NVIDIA.
Having the correct version of NVIDIA drivers can improve your FPS, so I'm going to show you how to do so. First, we are going to uninstall and wipe the current NVIDIA driver that you have.
Dobro, ovo je klasika, ovo sam već pričao u nekom od mojih klipova, znači DDU, driver, display uninstaller, klasika, obrišete sve, pokrenete Windows, sve clean, stavite da vam ne instalira nove drivere, onda skinete već driver koji imate, bam, instalirate ga. Bilo bi vrhunski da ga instalirate onako kao stripovan, to je najbolje, ali sve u svemu vidjet ćemo kako će onda instalira ovo.
To do so, go into ISO's folder and double click on DDUV18059 and click extract so we can use the uninstaller. Once it appears, go into the folder and run as admin. When you are installing the uninstaller, click no to the new updates available messages and click OK to everything else.
No.
In the select device type, change this to GPU and click on Clean and Do Not Restart option, which will perform the task of cleaning your NVIDIA driver. This will roughly take a minute to complete, but once done, a message will pop up asking you if you want to exit the installer. Click yes to that.
Dobro, klasika.
Now that we have wiped your current NVIDIA drivers, let's go ahead and reinstall them using ISO's recommendations for the installations. So we're going to go back into ISO's folder. If you have an RTX 30 or higher, use the for RTX 30 folder, and for anything else, use the RTX 20 folder and below.
Eto, I to vam
It's
je
worth
objasnio.
noting both folders will have the same...
braćo, ja se stvarno izvinjavam, pošto ja gledam ovo, sad ne znam da li vi svi znate engleski ili ne, ali kapiram da je prosto jednostavno da ispratite šta se sve dešava. Ako hoćete da ovo odradim ja na našem jeziku, da bi lakše shvatili, odradit ću, nije problem, ali čisto eto, mislim da je ovako lakše da mi prođemo sve zajedno, da vam ja kažem šta i kako stoje stvari, nije da se nešto previše razumem, ali dovoljno da znate šta radite.
Installation process. Once we're into the folder that corresponds with our graphics card, then you're going to run the setup exe to begin the process of installing the best drivers for CS.
Dobro.
Press next until you get to the installation options, and at this point select custom, next, and select all options similar on the screen. This should take a minute to run, but once done, press close.
Naravno, znači, isto kao i ovde, ja sam vam preporučio par puta, nemojte da instalirate GeForce Experience. Užasan je, ne valja za vaš komp, pada vam FPS od toga, znači, bukvalno nepotreban program. Ukoliko vam stvarno ne treba i ne koristite ga za nešto, nemam pojma šta sad, nemojte da ga koristite jer je katastrofa.
Now we are going to use the NVIDIA Profile Inspector to
configure our
NVIDIA settings for performance. Open the NVIDIA Profile Inspector and click yes.
I ovo bi trebalo da pokrenete kao admin isto, ali dobro.
Once you're in, press Import Profile by clicking this icon and uploading your NIP file where you can find that in ISO's folder. When it imports successfully, it's going to configure your NVIDIA to have the optimal settings for performance, and you can press Apply Changes twice to save it. Now we are going to make some slight changes to the NVIDIA control panel to reduce latency input and stop applications from changing our settings. Go to your desktop, right-click and select NVIDIA control panel. Go to Adjust Image at the top and select the middle option and apply. This will prevent other applications from changing our configuration. Next, go to Manage 3D Settings and on Global Settings. Everything will be set up with the NIP file we imported earlier, but we need to make some slight changes. The first change we're going to make is switching low latency mode to ultra to have the best input delay. Then scroll down to shader cache size and select Make It Unlimited, then click Apply. Next, go to Configure Surround and make sure your processor is selected, as it allows your GPU to avoid any games trying to use your CPU, whereas the GPU is much more suited to handle it. Then go to Change Resolution and make sure your refresh rate is correct. When checked,
naravno vama možda nemate 240 Hz monitor, ali mislim da ne moram da vam objašnjavam to, prosto jednostavno.
Adjust desktop size and position. On this page, you want to select one of the three options depending on what resolution you play in games. select aspect ratio for black bars, select full screen for stretch, and select no scaling for native users. Once you have made that change, then you're gonna go to perform scaling to either GPU or display. Display scaling will be the best for input delay and sharper, however alt-tabbing won't be instant. GPU scaling is best for smoothness and alt-tabbing will be instant but won't be as sharp. When done, press apply. At this time, we are also going to do a bit.
Ja sam čuo za display isto da imate manji input lag i to, ali ne znam, probajte jedno i drugo ukoliko imate opciju, ukoliko nemate, nemojte da se brinete jer to je do monitora, nije do vas. Do monitora nije do vas. Kao devojka kad ti kažu, do mene nije do tebe.
In the search bar, search system sounds and go through both the playback and recording tab and right click on any devices we are not using and set it to disabled. This action will stop it from showing up in areas where you need to select a mic or headset.
To je dobra stvar, iskreno. Da sve što ne koristite disablujete, ja ih čak i hajdujem da mi ne bi smetale.
Next up, we're going to look at park control, which helps us choose what we want out of our CPU.
Park control.
Go into ISO's folder and install the setup and agree to the pop-ups but untick the option to launch on the startup. Once it's installed, find the application by searching for it and you're going to get something like this. If you notice you have an update in the bottom left, go ahead and install it. When you're ready, click the drop down under power profile and select Bitsum highest performance option, then press
Ja ovo ne bih radio ako imate AMD procesor.
Active. Once done, press OK.
Iskreno, ovo ne bih radio ako imate AMD procesor. Najbolje da njega da ostavite na balans.
So XMP is enabled and this needs to be done in the BIOS. To access the
advanced
options, once you're in your BIOS, we can enable the XMP option. On some BIOS, the settings may be right in front of you, but on others, it may be tucked away somewhere. So it's best for you to Google where your XMP is on the BIOS, but for me, to see you're still having.
Dobro, mislim, ništa specijalno ovdje nisu pokazali nešto što već nismo znali i vidjeli. Možda tu neki failovi što ima ovaj auto exec i šta već, pa možda je tu malo bolje, ali za sve ostalo mislim da je već neko pokriveno. Vi odradite nešto, odradit ću i ja, čisto da vidim šta se tu dešava i da li je nešto bolje ili ne. Skinut ću ovaj što su već kao stavili file da se skinovo optimization folder, pa ćemo onda da vidimo šta i kako se tu dešava, da li valja, da li ne, ja vam pokazujem, kamera je sve vreme na meni, ali nema veze. Tako da, pogledat ćemo sve to, vi pišite rezultate u komentarima, pa ćemo da uporedimo da li nekom veći FPS, da li manji, ali sve u svemu odradite kako što kažu u videu, mislim da je sve čisto, možete da pokušate, eto još jedan guide koji vam možda pomogne da imate malo veći FPS, a vi kao što znate, nastavite gledati moje, nastavite da gledate meč i samo, nastavite da pravujete.